So this is not so much a scary story as it is strange. It's not so much true as it is more factual. The following information may be disturbing to some. So if you are a blue pill type of a person, you may want to stop reading this or watching now. If you are a red pill type of person and you want to consider the depth of the rabbit hole, please continue with caution. This information could disrupt your happy existence. You have been warned. In 1977, a science fiction author by the name of Philip K. Dick disclosed a hypothesis that he believed we are living in an advanced computer program. He was practically laughed out of the room at the time. If Mr. Dick were to make this claim today, the reception may be entirely different. Evidence is slowly starting to present itself that this theory may not be as crazy as it sounds. Many scientists are now considering this possibility and at the very least sympathizing with the theory, if not outright supporting it. In 2003, a scientist by the name of Nick Bostrom wrote a paper entitled, "Are You Living in a Computer Simulation?" Bostrom uses temporal logic to provide an empirical argument that we may in fact be living in a simulation. He formulates three distinct possibilities, and one of which must be true. The three possibilities are as follows. Number one, an advanced civilization which is capable of running simulations may become extinct before creating the simulation. Two, an advanced civilization which is capable of running simulations just refuses to do so. Three, an advanced civilization which is capable of running the simulation does in fact create a simulation. If either of these first two premises are true, then we are obviously most likely not in a computer simulation. If the third premise is true, then we are most likely living in a simulation created by some advanced civilization, perhaps even our future ancestors. However, we must consider the first two premises are not as likely as the third. The first would basically predict the doom of mankind before we're even capable of creating such an advanced simulation. The first premise suggests that all societies must become extinct before reaching that technological capability of producing this kind of simulation. Our own civilization is not quite there yet, but we are getting there fairly fast, with advances in processing speeds and artificial intelligence growing all the time. The second premise would mean that any or all advanced civilizations don't want to run simulations. Now, judging by our own society, with popular video games such as The Sims or different MMOs, this is definitely not the case. That leaves us the third premise that is most likely. An advanced civilization will run simulations. Furthermore, the simulated civilizations would also advance to the point where they too would be running their own simulations. That would mean that there are more simulations of the universe which exists than the actual real physical universe. Thus, it is more likely that we are actually living in a simulated universe rather than the real one. Simply put, Bostrom's argument is logical and, at the very least, plausible. Now here's where it starts to get crazy. In 2012, theoretical physicist James Gates was working on a mathematical equation while he was studying string theory. Superstring theory attempts to explain the ultimate reality, or the theory of everything. In the equation, Gates found computer code. Not just any computer code, but a specific kind of computer code. It's called block linear self-dual error correcting code. This code is used for browsers to accurately depict information sent over the web so that it is decipherable by the receiver of the data. This discovery of computer code in a mathematical equation for string theory certainly bolsters the argument that we may be living in a simulated universe. Furthering the claim of a simulated reality is the discovery of quantum mechanics. Quantum physics have discovered that subatomic particles that are not exactly solid and may exist in more than one place at a time. Google this if you're interested. The slit experiment has become quite famous. While all this information seems to be pointing to an increasing likelihood that we are in fact actually living in a simulation, it is by no means definitive. It could all still just be some eerie coincidence. However, if evidence continues to escalate, then it may become more of a likely reality soon. Now, consider this. If we are in fact living in a computer program simulation, then anything the programmers decide to include in this simulation would inherently become real and or true for us. This may also include things we would consider to be strange, mythical, supernatural, or even paranormal. If the programmers so choose, they could easily insert any of these things into our reality, and they would undoubtedly exist for us in the real world. This would include things like ghosts or demons, vampires, zombies, werewolves, witches, magic, Bigfoots, dragons, aliens, lake monsters, and almost any other mythical creature or monster or paranormal entity that you could think of. Any or all of these things could easily be programmed into a computer simulation, and therefore would be 100% real to us. In short, if this simulation theory is correct, any or all of these things, which have struck terror and fear into the hearts and minds for countless of centuries, could actually exist right now, or they could even begin to exist at any time the programmers decide. Think about that when you go to bed tonight and turn off the lights. Oh, and as always, remember to sleep well.